of the darkness, Alistair Jarvan. If they can't get the other, you know, whatever Tarek in there, which is actually still on the board, which I expect to be picked here by GGU University, that it becomes amazing. But we have seen Alistair and Jarvan so much lately.
Alistair's really came into his own. He disappeared forever. Now he's just a support guy. He got 5 of his move speed back. He got that 50 range on his headbutt. So now he's doing the support Alistair things again. He's been really good at following up and initiating team fights. And for CLG, when they have stuff like Hotshot on Malphite or Chouster on Jarvan, they really initiate these team fights well. And because they didn't pick the Tarek Jarvan, you know, I'm actually not entirely sure that we would see a Tarek in this game unless Good Game University really decides to play it in the support lane.
We see a Nunu being hovered over right now, which would be one of the first we've really seen here in the LCS coming into the regular season. At least we have seen very much of, however.
Yeah.
Let's see if they decide to lock that in.
And we have seen so much different stuff in this game. Nunu happening in there. I mean, knowing GGU, Nintendo Dex has practiced Jungle Elise, right? So that could be the support Nunu as well, who we haven't seen in a while. You would normally combo that with an AD carry like Caitlyn, but Don't Mash Me really likes Ezreal. Ezreal's a good pick against Vayne, right? Like, there's so much on the board right now that we're used to seeing get picked all the time. Vi is still there. Twisted Fate is usually a pretty big ban against Jinte. It's just not happening this game. So CLG's roster looks pretty normal, but the picks are a little strange.
I wonder if Afromu will go for a Thresh on this one. Keep himself in the back. A Lulu would also be really amazing for that composition.
And the Thresh pick would be something that Europe played the crap out of last week. 100% pick ban.
Yes, sir.
North America had the 1 pick and the 2 bans, I believe, so much less Thresh
focus
that we've had. And these are very exciting compositions coming. You look at GGU, that looks like Zion Spartan on a Kali. He really likes playing that. He must feel so good to be back in the top lane. Probably the jungle Elise, and then Don't Mash Me is trolling around. He should pick his AD carry in the next second. I think Caitlyn.
Oh.
Wait. Yeah, all right.
Wait.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, smile it off. Yep. I thought he said he was going to wear his glasses all day as well. That was going to be, that was on Twitter that I called him out on that with somebody else, and he's not wearing them still.
Deal with it.
I guess so. That was a great gift.
Fantastic
gift that came out of that video. So we do see the picks locked in here. You are absolutely right about that. Jungle Elise, those cocoons from the jungle. If he can do anything like Psycho Sid was doing, that's going to be some scary stuff.
We've seen a few people succeed with Jungle Elise. I know that the Taipei Snipers in the Garena program, the Stars Wars League, so way over in Asia, have been doing the Jungle Elise occasionally. It's a very gank-heavy jungler for Nintendo Dex, and we have seen him from him before. And now Hotshot's pick is going to come down to this, like, Doublelift really got going last game, right? So are they going to just be the support style stuff? And Hotshot on Cho'Gath, I wonder how that's going to deal with Zion Spartan's Akali, because this Cho'Gath earlier in the season hasn't worked out too well for Hotshot.
No, not so much. They don't take to the split push as much as they used to and buy into what he's doing. They know he'll get a few. People really understand the way that waves work now and the timing of waves, and it's not taken as much into consideration. They can leave him do that.
It's very true. So CLG's lineup, if Hotshot could get the split push going, but it's going to be tough against Zion Spartan, is going to be about that, again, support the Doublelift, right? You have the initiation coming in really, really hard, and then Doublelift should be the one who comes in and tries to clean up the kills. You look at GGU, though, and that is the lane team, right? Nunu Caitlyn is supposed to be extremely strong in lane. The ganks from Jungle Elise are extremely potent, and then Akali and Kayle are very strong individually in their lane. So GGU has to win the laning battle against CLG if they want to make it into late-game teamfights.
Well, they have a safe lane with that 80 carry comp. We haven't seen a Nunu Caitlyn come in quite a long time, actually, I think ever since he got hit with the speed reductions. So that'll be cool to see coming in. Obviously, Kayle's going to be safe in lane, especially after 6. So I think GGU can hold off if they were to put an aggression out right in the beginning.
And this is going to be such a big week for GGU. Like, they are right. They are 1-6 going into this. If they win everything this week, 6-6.
That's one of my favorite clips of that video is Mash Me saying, we come out of this even.
If we come out of 6-6. But if they lose.
But yeah, ouch.
You don't want to be 1-11. Let's just throw it out there. Like, that's not something you can come back from very easily.
True statements are true. We see the teams face off there, and we are actually on to Summoner's Rift. Game number 4 of the day. Riven Chat on the microphone as we are bringing you your Super Wednesday here for the North American LCS, and we are on the Rift.
So in some of the early games, we've seen very little aggression level 1. There was some interesting stuff like conservation of wards. Just incredibly passive play that they've decided to go for. And there are a lot of wards purchased. I just wonder if they're going to be placed.
You see, everybody's kind of moving into mid. Afromu takes the long way around, which would be seen by everybody. So it looks like they actually don't care. They say, yeah, you may know. We're still getting our vision down. And Chaucer's going to try to keep a little bit of vision as his own. Human wards all over the place.
So Nintendo X, if he really wanted to, would be able to use, like if he skilled his E, which he would be disaster in the jungle since it does no damage, would be able to see over that wall. But he's decided not to, right? Like, there are certain spots on the map where Elise can actually get her Spiderling to walk around the wall. It's not going to happen in this situation, but, you know, maybe he was trying to get it going. I don't know why he was really sitting in the Baron Pit so long.
It looks like they are going to back off from this situation here. Hotshot just chilling over by his blue. Nobody wants too much aggression. Continues to play out on our day of safety. Safe play. Everybody's got their helmets and elbow pads on as they come into the beginning of the match.
Super safe week.
Super safe Wednesday.
But it looks a little bit like, and again, it's the low amount of wards, it's the high amount of human wards, there's not too much knowledge being transferred back and forth, but because of all the low ward strategy, we could see our first set of action, right? CLG has the 4 members up in the top lane here. If they decide to go in for the blue, they would walk over a ward. They are pinging the spot where they say there's a ward, so this is going to be, if anything, a brute force invade. I wonder if CLG knows that ward's there.
They do put the ball in for vision. They are not even stopping on this one. They are going straight in. You can see them ready for the engagement here. The pink ward immediately, and they don't even want to give GGU a chance to see what the blue buff looks like. Will they be able to grab it away? And it actually does not, going all the way to Chauster.
That was the luckiest smite steal by Chauster. His smite did not go off. Nintendo X's smite went off, and then Chauster got the last hit by chance. This is going to put Chauster way ahead in the jungle. It means he got a smiteless leash, essentially by GGU in the jungle. Now he gets to go straight to red, and Nintendo is trapped without smite and without a pull on red buff.
And a lot of aggression here onto Hotshot, but Bloodwater makes his way into lane, and he's able to help mash me. So that very big for the junglers coming into this start. Chaucer's going to crush down this red, and his presence in lane is going to be so fast. We can see Nintendo just trying to get through as much of these camps as he can without using mana, but that almost met his full health bar.
And Nintendo X has had a tendency, he's good at running away with games, but if he falls behind, he has a tendency to stop farming. If he can't get the farm in the jungle, he doesn't take any of it in lane, so he's got to be very careful not to let that start set him too far behind. As we see, 3 people up top for CLG.
Zion Spartan has to be very wary here. We've seen what Team Solo Mid has done lately. They will patiently just watch you in front of your turret as you watch your last minion wave go down and then take you down. Zion Spartan smells it right now. The Spidey sense is going off, and he's going to take that defensive positioning in lane.
And he's pretty much just giving them a turret if they want it. I think these guys have been dove enough 3v1 that they don't want to let it happen anymore, and they will just essentially give up a turret. But because they saw Chauster was waiting to do that play, Nintendo X was able to go get the blue buff of his own and then work his way around to make this 3-man play onto Hotshot. But they took so much damage from the turret, they might not actually get the turret trade here.
Wow, it's still going into the bottom lane quite aggressively. But we had a flash forced. Yes, Bloodwater actually had to flash out of a sticky situation. Another very early turret. Chat, this could be a trend coming in, at least for Super Wednesday. Turrets are going down again a mere 4 minutes into the game.
There's actually a really awesome infographic that got out earlier about week 3 in the LCS about like earliest turret taken. It was done by Team Dignitas, and it was like earliest turret taken, 356. I think we've seen like 6 turrets taken at 356 today. It's such textbook coordination. These guys are timing the waves, they're timing their buffs, and they're just going for it. And these teams have either decided that there is not a counterplay for it, or they're just going to pull off the exact same play themselves because they are happy to be trading these turrets. They are not trying to counterplay that move whatsoever.
When we look at Nintendo X, super forced to grab a few camps. Oh, beautiful flash getting the way from Afro where there. Jinte coming up big there. Definitely eyes on him. But as I was saying, the Spirit Stone instantly picked up so Nintendo X can get himself around the jungle.
So fastest second turret of the game might be 450 if they can finish this one off, but GGU really trying to stop him, and there's another turret.
The Ignite drawn out by Link as well. He gets himself a little too close. Command Protect will keep him alive as he's chugging the potions, and it looks like the laning phase is over.
the turrets are gone. So let's move on to the next stage of the game. We're now in the roaming phase. But really, that play was such good capitalization by CLG. They did the turret trade, but because Nintendo X was so delayed and essentially CLG's bottom turret lasted an extra 30 seconds, that gave CLG the window to put 4 people mid before GGU would be able to match them, and they took the mid turret out of it. That is such a crucial turret, and in normal situations, you can never make that play successfully.
Yeah, really the change of Super Week is going to be who can stop this from happening, who can draw blood off of these first turret takes, because right now we're seeing these games 0-0 with huge turret aggression in the early game.
We do see first turret much more frequently than first blood, right? Like,
right.
There's been first blood that's happened in 19 or 20 minutes in some of these games, and the first turrets are at 356. Like that's the thing that is going to happen. Fast forward the game to that point and turn it on, and it'll be like, all right, we got this.
Kills coming in.
The turret is down. But I really want to see if a team can counterplay this, just kind of talking outside this game a little bit.
For sure.
Mid lanes with teleports. Junglers, obviously we've seen like a 2v3 dive actually doesn't work if you execute it right. The 3 men will dive them, but like someone like Nunu Caitlyn doesn't have the armor to pull off that kind of dive, so I feel like if CLG wanted to, they could have stopped that from happening. I do feel like there's some counterplays for this. I just want to see it, and we got 12 games today. We got 9 left, so I'm sure we'll see it.
Different strategies from game to game. There are going to be a lot of people watching and seeing what's happening right now. It'll be interesting to see what happens within our next games of the day. We're only 7 minutes into this one. We'll have to see who can pull out this first kill. 2 turrets to 1 as Counter Logic did push that mid turret as well as the top one. That was the first time we saw the mid turret go down quickly after instead of the bottom one. So there was a bit of change up there, and it does give them a bit of a gold lead. But now again, they kind of stop because nobody has the initiation power yet.
And there are a lot of wards that got pumped out as well because all the turret gold gave teams extra abilities to ward, but now 5 people of GGU rolling up mid and CLG trying to clear the waves. This is not a very farm-heavy game. There's been so much roaming around that the CS actually isn't getting distributed that much.
Or at all. 25 CS here at near 8 minutes for the top laners, and we can see it creeping up for the AD carries because they're the only ones that really haven't had too much trouble within their lanes. Dragon is being pinged right here. If they can get a good push on whoever is in mid, it looks like they want it.
This could just be, if they get this Dragon, CLG kind of outplaying GGU. They survived the turret. They realized since GGU put 5 in mid that they would need to clear off to clear jungle and pushed up lanes. So CLG knows since they came to counter it, and since they already have the pink ward on Dragon, that they can pick this up for free, which would give them a 1,625 global gold advantage considering the Dragon and the turret. Crazy.
Come up with that one quite easy. Zion Spartan forced top as we see the Fiendish Codex build for Jinte coming out in mid. Still have yet to see what this Good Game University composition can bring out in a full 5, but that's what we're getting out of this play style. You take aggression in the beginning of the game knowing the other team does not have their initiation yet. It's kind of like everybody watching the turret go down as they poke at it, and this is what we have right here. And
this is different play from CLG, but strangely similar to their overall strategies. They've always been a team that kind of likes to apply global pressure and make sure they outfarm, get a gold lead so they can win later team fights. But that's usually been with Hotshot off in the top lane, standard 2v2 laning bottom, standard 1v1 laning mid, and just farming the jungle. But this is just highly roaming around, but they're doing it in a manner that they are the ones getting all the objectives and also out-farming the lane. So they're pulling this off extremely well.
See Hotshot actually going for the quick Kindle Gem to pick that up. Definitely a little bit of health for him, but we'll have to see if he actually builds that into whatever recipe he wants or he's building that for his lane right now.
The early Kindle Gem before boots. So what could you be doing, Hotshot? Maybe he's going for Locket of the Iron Solari, right? That is the item that everyone's been building. Chouster would maybe go the Aegis and Hotshot would build the Locket, then they go force team fights. It could also be a component of the Spirit Visage. That's what Hotshot really likes building late game on Shogath, and since they're against double AP composition, it would be a good component. A lot of people go for Kindle Gem early. Not usually before boots, but Hotshot's fine.
And it seems like with Zion Spartan kind of soaking up that experience, he's taking a little bit of a lead in the CS, gets himself some damage there. We can see him try to start building towards that Gunblade. He is going to be one of the highest ones on his team, except for the AD carries. So with that CS coming back in now, they may start to gain a little bit of an advantage, but they're down in the gold because of that Dragon. They still have yet to come back on the turrets. So it seems like everybody knows what to do for that first 5 minutes, and then it's kind of like back into the limbo zone.
And the strangest thing about this is not a zone that people are very used to being in, right? The turrets being down and the laning phase being kind of over so early into the game puts people in strange situations. Like, they're not used to roaming and team fighting before people have their ultimates, right? Now that most people have their ultimates, it seems a little bit more comfortable, but you don't see inner mid-turret sieges working when people are level 7 usually. Like, the threat of a dive is much lower at this point because the turret will be doing such a higher percentage of their health. But CLG is managing to keep a lot of the pressure up.
Look over at Link. See him buying up the 2 Dorans to the 1 of Jinte here. So Jinte is more on his way to get that core item under his belt. The Chalice coming in. Hotshot taking a little aggression from Zion Spartan as they choose to both walk away from that engagement. And CLG just putting down wards everywhere. They're all about to tick out, but they have that entire bottom side lit up.
Yeah, and that is a huge heap of wards by kind of both teams, but because CLG is working on pressuring the bottom turret, that's why they warded the red jungle of GGU so heavily, which is why they're safely kind of taking this turret. And they could get the 3rd turret of the game right here just by tactical play.
It took them a little bit longer, but they were able to find the opening as the mid gets pressured. We'll have to see where they go after this. It doesn't look like GGU is going to come up with the aggression on the turret enough to take it down. Good positioning by Counter Logic here, keeping all their bases safe as they keep pressure on lanes as well, trying to do the good offense and a good defense at the same time. 11 minutes and 30 seconds in here. About a 2,000 gold lead as GGU is cresting that 14,000 mark to the 16,000 of Counter Logic Gaming. And still, look down for the wards. The top lanes are coming up heavy with wards. It came out last game as well. And Hotshot's picking up the pinks for his team this time. It was Mega Zero last game.
Yeah, and I think it's a shared feeling for CLG picking up these wards. They're getting so much global gold that everyone's just kind of putting a lot of that towards wards so they can continue to generate the global gold. And Doublelift barely misses that out on Don't Match Me. There's the flash!
There it is, the headbutt as well. He's going to get... Oh, wow, they put everything on him. Cleanse or not, and they find the first blood coming in for Doublelift.
12 minutes in, that was a rude gank by CLG. Don't Match Me felt safe in that situation, but that's the pain of having 3 of your outer turrets down. Once that happens, and this happened in the CLG versus Dignitas game kind of last week, when those 3 outer turrets started going down, we saw team fights one after the other because teams can stop you from farming when they have your outer turrets down, and that's the kind of thing that happens.
Zion Spartan throws down the Shroud. He gets a little bit of slow. Will he have a charge in time? He's got the Mark of the Assassin on for burst, but the energy just isn't there as he can't mark the Qs back. Can they turn this one around? That Doublelift pass, or the Vayne passive rather, keeping him in range. One more bolt, and he takes him out. An unfortunate counter attack by CLG.
And you could tell that Zion Spartan had went a little too far by the fact that he wasn't trying to follow in completely fully. He was kind of chasing. It's like, wait a minute. There are 2 people there, and I have no turrets, so my retreat is going to be very long. And Doublelift was like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to turn around and kill you right now. So, again, Doublelift starting with the 2-0. That's exactly what CLG wants and needs to be victorious, is getting the kills on a Doublelift. They did it last game against Vulcan, and they're doing it again here.
Chalister said it when we had him up here. We get a few kills for Doublelift on Vayne, and it's a good game, Vayne. We look around as well, and you said it was a shared thing. It is a shared thing. 3 pink wards across the inventory of Counter Logic right now, and this is also something we've seen teams doing. When they have the advantage, they super press the advantage now. They don't just leave a few wards there.
And this will be something to kind of track as we watch more and more CLG games. I wonder if they ever make Doublelift buy wards. Because like they are so focused on getting him the most farm. And I know everyone's like, especially in solo queue as an AD carry, you do want to ward yourself because you need kind of the team cohesion.
Times to be alone.
But if you have like everyone on board that one person doesn't have to buy wards, I think it could work. And I think that's what CLG does.
And they're doing a great job at it. We see the map covered for them. Just enough. Down by Wraiths, a Vision Ward. Down by Golems, a Ward. And Vision Ward on Dragon, again, gives them the 2nd Dragon of the game. 20,000, actually 21,000 gold to 17,000 as they continue to increase a slight gold lead. 3-1 in turrets here. And it looks like GGU isn't completely out of this one yet. Still anybody's game. CLG just has that definitive lead right now. It's going to have to be a table turner for GGU to do this one, though.
And GGU has to find a fight. They don't want to fight because they realize they're behind, but with the way CLG is applying pressure, they kind of have to. Nashor's Tooth on Kale is a big landmark item, and dodging that Orianna ultimate is big for them if they want to try to go for a fight.
That was a beautiful repel from Nintendo X. Can they get the cocoon out that they need? Volatile Spider, not, it is going to do a little bit of damage, but not as much as they may have thought. He throws down the ultimate from intervention, but he still could go down here. A lot of damage going on both sides of the health bars. Afromoo could be the first one to go down, and the Piltover Peacemaker makes a connection. A great tumble dodge there. He's able to take the ace in the hole, but it might be enough for the repel execute. Nintendo X coming up with another one. A good dissonant slow there, but the auto attack comes in. They are able to come up with a kill. A valiant kill going down, and it looks like, no, the teleport will be stopped in the bottom lane.
I was like, who's teleporting it? No,
he stopped it.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be bold move of going into 3 people, but wow. That's exactly what GGU needed to do, and they pulled it off, right?
Bam.
CLG was trying to siege. Once they missed the Orianna ultimate, once Afromoo actually missed his pulverize as well, it was go time. Jinte was a little late for the fight, which kept CLG's confidence there to think that they would be able to make that fight work, but they could not, and now it's 4 kills to 3, and the turret, and very even gold.
Looks like Zion Spartan finding a little bit of trouble up here, but there's nothing that's really going to keep him in range. If he can get the Shroud down, he'll be able to walk out of this one easy. He actually looks for help from Jinte for a complete fight here. He could have walked out of this one without provoking this fight, and it's not going to turn out good for GGU. All they wanted to do was to save Zion Spartan, but CLG says no. Jinte looks to go down as well. His ult was just used in vain. The blue buff could be transferred here if they get the last pulverize on. It actually goes to Hotshot. He can split push all day with that.
GGU kind of throws away their good play from the previous fight in that one. That intervention by Kale was not very timely, so Jinte and Zion both with a bit of a misplay in that one. CLG pouncing on the opportunity, and again, regains control in one fell swoop of the game right here with the deaths and with the push up mid 5v4.
I feel like Zion Spartan could have just walked down towards the blue on that one and kept himself alive.
I think so.
Simply alive. Good protect here onto Hotshot as he is the one in the front line here trying to deter them from any trying to re-engage. They know that they are down a little bit on this one. That Kale ult still, no, it actually is back up. So they'll be able to use that for the fight. Definitely a low cooldown right now. Look at that. It is going to be about 70 seconds, so just over a minute is not too bad. 17 minutes into the game. The gold lead getting smaller and smaller for Counter Logic here. That fight, very big for GGU, as you said, Jat. And it looks like they may be able to pressure that composition with Caitlyn and Nunu now as the game gets up to that 20-minute mark.
And GGU now trying to make plays again to get something on Afromoo. They might go.
Wow, that damage coming out. Each shot, the Knight could take him down to the last one. Zion Spartan finds the Q actually to take him out. Link could find himself going down as well, and GGU continues to go in. Zion Spartan just makes it out of range. Chouster with the Cataclysm coming in, and Hotshot is there. There are a lot of low health bars, but they're microing in and out perfectly. I don't think any of them are going to go down. He could get eaten here by Feast. Oh, no. Shouted out, and it looks like they are going to lose 2 here. Nintendo X and Zion's partner down, and with that blue buff, like I said, he feels like he can just keep going. Mashme could kite with the red buff, and he realizes it.
But because of the play by GGU, that does turn out to a 4v2. There was a bit of a nice play by Hotshot picking up the double kill at the end, but that was all about Zion Spartan and his powerful dives. He went deep through the turret and then back out and then back in for his death. But it was still awesome. Awesome play by him right there. So we actually have a quick replay of that last fight to see exactly what happened. So it was the catch on Afromoo. He thought he was going to catch Bloodwater stealing that ward, but he didn't think GG would be bold enough to send 5 people into that turret, and then just pay attention to Zion Spartan. Look at him going deep onto Link while the ace in the hole goes off, and then his dodge off to the side, and then he actually comes back in to initiate on Chouster again to just help everything out. It was really, really good fight by them, and then they went a little too deep here as Hotshot was able to clean up too.
So in that fight, lessons to be learned while still getting an advantage. Hope GGU comes away with that. They're playing spectacular right now to definitely come back on a Counter Logic Gaming that has come into this week with a different pace. And we've seen that already. Every team actually has a different pace this week. And everybody's adapting. It's not something we've seen before.
The LCS has actually been surprising me at every turn, like especially in North America. At the very first week, it was like, man, Dignitas looked weak, GG looked awesome. And the second week was like, holy crap, Dignitas just threw out everyone. What happened to everybody else? Last week was like, Vulcan.
3-0.
And then now it's like, man, those towers are getting pushed fast. But every week has actually had something new.
Completely.
And something old as well, because Don't Mash Me might be getting flashbacks from a CLG game. He's crushing this game, and with the new Caitlyn, so much is going to be on his shoulders in these late-game teamfights once he starts stacking up those items.
He's backed by a 0-0-7 perfect score Bloodwater right now, so that can only help. We see that Aframu is actually forced into the Philosopher's Stone build. Well, not forced into, but he chose to go for with the mobility boots into his Sightstone. You can see the Ruby Sightstone already for Bloodwater. Just the small advancements from side to side. The Zeal Infinity Edge kind of matched out there on both sides as we see Mashme picking up wards. Maybe it's all on Doublelift to pick up some wards now.
I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think Doublelift wants wards whatsoever. He wants to get that Phantom Dancer ASAP.
Phantom wards. 20 minutes into this one, 28,000. I'm just going to call it even. There's 600 gold that separates these teams, and that's just an invade of the blue buff in the beginning of the game. Not really.
Yeah, it's just, it's not much. You're absolutely right about that. And with the Dragon coming up again, GGU has kind of manned up and created a few team fights for themselves. I wonder if they're going to concede this Dragon. They might just not know that it's happening right now, and they're a little too slow on the pickup.
That, safety as well. If they were to go for it, the ward's coming out from Jinte. They don't even want to try to pressure to see if it's there. The pings are going down for Baron because they are down there.
So they are trying to control this area right now. This is one of those classic Doublelift just ran bottom lane. So if GGU wants to force something right away, they could start on the Baron. They're baiting CLG to come in. I think GGU would peel this for a team fight if it comes up to them because they don't want to get caught in with Orianna.
Chad, they have the Oracles, and that would be perfect because CLG would not be able to lay any down on the entry. They shut down Hotshot right off the bat. The red buff on Zion Spartan. Will he choose to keep anybody in range for his team's grasp? But they choose to back off. The dissonance down onto Chowster, but no initiation there. He's quite low on mana. They have to be careful without Hotshot.
So that play gave them about 650 gold because Hotshot was on a killing spree. So he had the 3-kill bounty that got handed to Zion Spartan and then the assist gold as well. Doublelift didn't get that much in farm, so that was a strategic error there by CLG. The nice thing that they did once they realized Hotshot was dead is they didn't burn any more ultimate cooldowns. Like, Link's Orianna ball was sitting in there. He probably could have used it for some damage, but CLG wouldn't have been able to follow up for it. Now that Hotshot's rezzed again, they will be able to be at full strength to fend off this siege.
And he does finally pick up the boots. He goes for Home Guard along with the Merc Treads, but he picks up a Wit's End, something we actually haven't seen in quite some time.
And Hotshot loves these things we haven't seen in quite some time. He's built that all the time. And here comes an initiation on a Jinte.
Oh, Jinte, no, a little too much. The intervention was actually held off there since it wouldn't have done too much. And CLG is gunning right now to clear out Baron.
I don't think he had a time to use it. It was to the knockup, to the Orianna knockup, to the Alistar knockup. He was just knocked up the entire time. There's no way he could have got that ult off.
Looks like as they clear more wards, they look to get aggressive with this bit of a push. Taking GGU out of position for a Baron dance. Looks like everybody's going full force down mid. They're waiting for Doublelift to come up from the back here, and it looks like they may get something going.
So retaking control of the Baron.
Yeah.
Passing it back and forth right here.
Quick 3K jump in gold. 2K or whatever.
You're really right about that. Did they take a turret somehow? No, it was the Dragon and then also the extra kill that they got, I think. But yeah, they're forcing around Dragon here, and the 3-man stack in the brush that GGU has no vision of. They have to be very careful not to get hard initiated on because Jinte is still making his way back.
Bloodwater has already put that money into the Oracles. They're back to the pink wards. Now it's Aframu's turn to clear out this area. They're going to do it. The Cocoon goes out to Hotshot as they get somewhat of the poke game damage they have. It's not significant, but it is a good amount of harass. It looks like they're kind of just going to walk parallel down the lane.
And this is the danger that they're all facing. Neither team really wanted to get hard initiated on, but Chowster, does he want to go? I don't think he wants to go.
By himself here, the repel could easily save him. The entire team comes in to save. They jump down on, and he flashes out of his ult. He's trying to just keep them out of it. A great play there, but they can't get enough damage on the Zion Spartan. A beautiful shockwave coming in, deletes Jinte from the fight, and it looks like they're going to be able to push GGU out of this one. Zion Spartan is there. Can Mashme get enough damage? And he doesn't have enough for a net, so he has to make sure he's out of range with those auto attacks. And CLG picks up a great fight there. Awesome ult by Chowster.
That was really cool, actually. Like, you could tell he was holding it because he didn't want to use it on Intendude, and he waited for Zion Spartan to commit and then locked out the rest of GGU's damage. So by trapping Kale and Don't Mash Me in that ultimate, Chowster would have been killed if he would have stayed in there, so he got the hell out of there as fast as he could. And they were able to zone back on a Zion Spartan and win the fight off of that crazy play. I haven't seen many Jarvans ever do that before, and now they're going on to Baron because they have all 5 people.
So at 25 minutes, it looks to be a definitive advantage here. Bloodwater, Nintendo X, and Mash Me, if they have something else to say about it, and they do. Coming in, they catch Baron. It looks still to be quite low here, about a third health on it. It's going to go up quite fast. Still, now it's jacking up there. The health is going to be back to normal. Nobody's going to be able to take Baron on this, and GGU play that one perfectly.
Why is GGU still hitting the Baron? They've all rezzed up. They're all coming in, and CLG are now the ones that are low. They put in 500 wards to the Baron pit, and they might want to fight here.
It could absolutely do it. Chowster's very low. Hotshot's going to put himself in the front. We've seen him get melted down before. He's not super tanky yet. He's only relying on that feast stack. It looks like they back off here. That blue buff, I think he just, or still has, is about to wear off. They got to be careful. He will lose that if they want to engage here.
And now CLG decides to push up mid, so both teams are just trading back and forth Baron damage and not trading back damage with each other. They're landing stuns on each other. CLG, after all of that, does win the exchange, so to speak, because they got the 2 kills in the fight and they took a turret, but that was crazy dangerous.
4-3 now. GGU looking to pressure back out. Nintendo, the first one, he wastes the mana on Repel, puts himself in the fight. Can he get some extra damage down? A good intervention will cause Double Lift to chase. He won't find the last kill there, the last shot rather. Zion Spartan is going to hold them off a bit here. Nobody wants to dive in just yet though. Mash Me coming around from that top side if he can catch some damage, but it looks like CLG stays in their jungle to exit.
That was a little bit over-aggressive by Nintendo X. He went in alone and had to basically force Jinte into ulting him. Otherwise, they would have forced themselves into a disadvantage. And if he wouldn't have done that, they might have been able to get more damage on this turret. But as it stands, everyone on CLG wants to shop because Link is sitting on 2k gold. Double Lift is close to that as well. So they've been in these engagements and poking at each other for so long that the shop bills are really piling up.
10-9 here, Jat. 26 minutes into the game. The Baron has been kind of looked at by both teams here. They've sized each other up. We saw CLG pushed off of Baron by 3 members of GGU and then a few respawning. You see the wards being cleared out here finally inside the den. The Oracle still not re-picked up by GGU. As we look at Aframu, they still have theirs going. He actually just bought a new one, so they're going back to clear things out.
And we actually don't get to see games like this very often. Like, it's kind of cool when both teams kill each other's outer turrets and someone doesn't really have a lead, because you see all these crazy mind games of people kind of moving around, outmaneuvering each other, out-pink warding, out-visioning, trying to bait them into situations, because normally it's like the first team takes the 3 outer turrets and they have a big lead, so it's all a matter of like one team trying to catch the other team in a bad situation. Right. Otherwise, they're just going to lose a straight-up team fight. But these teams don't really know who would win a straight-up team fight, and they don't really want to chance it. So they're all trying to just outplay each other, and there is so much tactical battles going on right now.
Well, it's one of those games, we saw a few today where the kills weren't going to the AD carries, but they are. You have 4, 2, and 0 on Double Lift. You have 4, 1, and 5 on Mash Me, and this is really something we haven't had a long time, is a game of just the AD carries and what they can do within these team fights. Spartan's making a lot of chaos for these, but Mash Me is able to come up with huge damage. We saw what happened when Aframu got caught out in that last fight in the jungle, bursted down instantly. I think it was 3 shots from Mash Me, and he found 2 or 3 crits on that.
And I don't think CLG really realizes that they are up 4,000 gold. They're feeling pretty scared of the way they've been going through this, and the late game scaling should fall onto CLG, so they're kind of trying to take it easy as long as Link can hit his good ult and Double Lift can do the late game carry. The things they do have to worry about though is Don't Mash Me essentially gets a 7th item if it gets late game, but now we see the Oracle's clear on Baron, and they're really going hard for this. CLG has vision now though.
Could be Chowster coming in from the side. They actually choose to engage. They get Zion Spartan and Aframu. The headbutt's used, though. He puts himself in the middle of the fight to try and tank the cooldowns. Zion Spartan gets intervention as he dives in, and Chowster finally locks him up. An amazing command shockwave coming in, and it looks like they'll be able to clean up a few, but for both sides, this leaves CLG on the run, GGU on their heels. Bloodwater's going to go down next, and it's Mash Me forced to flash away on the first shot from Double Lift as he picks up a double kill.
That fight was all about the area crowd control by CLG. I mean, Aframu jumped in, he did start the initiation, but then the Cataclysm from Jarvan, the ruptures from Hotshot GG were so key, and then the Orion ult as well. Like, looking at the team fight after seeing that one, I realized that GGU doesn't have any of that stuff. So all the shutdown was on CLG's side, and that's one of the reasons, along with their execution, that they won that fight so handily.
And the Baron goes down. Chowster just getting back up in time for that.
Nice.
Very nice for him. And it looks like we are going to be able to have a push here from CLG on most of the lanes. We'll see how GGU reacts to this one. Looking down at their items, we do have the Locket. Now the Aegis being built as well, which was actually just finished for Afromu. He was behind on his Aegis previously. He didn't even have that Executioners, but he was able to just buy the entire thing right there.
Well, the incredibly long amount of poking that they had done. The fact that he picked up his Philosopher's Stone early, it's generated 495 gold for him at this point in the game, so did help him a little bit with that Aegis. You know, you put 700 gold into Philo Stone, get 500 back. Maybe if he just didn't build it, he would have had the Aegis a little earlier, but he's got it now.
Indeed. I called Emblem Executioners for some reason.
You may have done that.
I did. Came out.
No one noticed.
None of them. I saw it. Yeah. So pushing in the top lane here, Jinte, 170 to 214. And actually the Guardian Angel coming out very fast for Link instead of more damage on the comparison.
Very interesting. I guess they are very okay with just having Doublelift sit in the back. Link's had some problems when CLG has struggled of kind of getting caught out and losing team fights, and he does have to overcommit a little bit on Orianna, but you know, that's just a preference choice. He's trying to take his big lead into a powerful item. I don't know if that's the right one, but it's probably going to work out.
Wow, Nintendo X taking so much damage and having to take a heal from Jinte just to start this fight. These guys are doing everything defensively off the bat instead of setting themselves up for an engagement or looking for that mistake. Link trying to draw out some attacks here. 3 shots from Mashmi, kind of put him down to 75% health. Good aggression onto the turret as they back off of this. Next minion wave could mean more gold for them and a little bit more positioning. Wow. All right, no word for you.
Yeah, those wards just getting obliterated a little bit quick. Couldn't get the third one, but CLG trying to put their control on here. The Frozen Heart on Hotshot GG is quite strong right now against Don't Mash Me, especially considering he doesn't have the last Whisper completed yet. It is Don't Mash Me on Caitlyn, and they went out to take a blue buff, but now they're just right back into trying to siege this turret down. They get a little bit every time, and eventually GGU might look to initiate. I don't know if they want to concede the inhibitor or if CLG wants to be aggressive enough to go all in.
And we can hear Counter Logic in the background being very cautious. Back, 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 back is the only thing coming out of their mouth right now as they try to push for this. They want the perfect engagement. It's a story of the day for everybody. They're not acting until they find a mistake from the other team. It's really just more or less playing in the inside of your opponent's head instead of your own game right now.
Chess match.
The chess match of League of Legends, and that it is. 32 minutes in here, we finally see that inhibitor turret taken down. Waves crushing down past the river. Both sides for CLG, so they have something to work with after they get out of this one. It looks like bottom lane, Jet.
And GGU was hoping that they don't have to lose a second inhibitor during their duration of that Baron buff. They had calculated that they would lose a Baroned up fight if they tried to fight at that low turret, so they're willing to sacrifice an inhibitor for a small chance at having the rest of the game. But once you lose an inhibitor, especially against CLG, it becomes increasingly difficult to come back. And CLG still has about 45 seconds of this Baron buff, so they're going to try to get this next turret. GG would have to fight at this one.
Hotshot, I believe he just pressed S there. Beautiful rupture coming up. Can they continue this fight on? The health bars instantly dropping down. Nintendo X with a sliver of health forced out of this one and then down. There's a double kill again coming in for Doublelift. His third of the match. One for Link as well. They take down the inhibitor turret. They didn't find the aces. Bloodwater made it out alive, but he is not going to be enough to stop. We can just see GGU so taken out by this one. Counter Logic to find their second win here on Super Wednesday as they open up the Nexus.
Looked a little shaky for them early in the game when GGU made their first comeback, but then CLG just controlled it. They had so much control in that game. The Orianna ults, the Cho'Gath ruptures, Jarvan, Alistair, everything supporting Doublelift's Fane. So 2 strong games to start the day for CLG coming off last week.
Really great games. You can hear the guys in the background happy about their win. Again, going to shake hands as Chowster on your screen. In an all-out game where we just saw that there's different things coming into play and people are pressuring those. The pink wards that come out super early in the game.